Few people today know about the importance of both Dr. J, Julius Erving, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, whose original name was Lou Alcindor, and that actually was important because most people now have no understanding of not being able to see every NBA game on TV somewhere. Back in the 70s and the early 80s, few people got the chance to see games. That was because tape delay, also ABA was where Dr. J got his reputation. Lou Alcindor, who became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and had a headline written about him. As goes the NBA, or as goes Lou Alcindor, goes the NBA. They knew when they brought in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was Lou Alcindor, like I said at the time, he would be the face of the league. And here's the thing. He was the big fundamental before Tim Duncan. Now, Dr. J, on the other hand, was Air Jordan before Michael Jordan. Dr. J carried the ABA, sort of like what Caitlin Clark's doing right now. Dr. J got in there with this league that was having problems financially. NBA was already having problems. So these two opposing people carried their leagues. And then ABA got folded into the NBA, and Dr. J got to play against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, mind you, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is center, Dr. J, small forward, opposing ways of playing, the whole 9 yards. But there are so many players that credit these two players with how they are. Now, unfortunately, nobody does the sky hook anymore. It was only a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar shot. But so many people try to be like Dr. J or the man that came after him, Michael Jordan. And I thought I would explore these two men for the simple fact of that you need to understand their history to understand how things are going in both the NBA and the WNBA today. So let's get into it a little bit here. Hey folks, this is Paul with Redneck Sports. I want to thank you for viewing my video, and I want to give you one thought process. There was a famous coach at University of Tennessee by the name of General Robert Neyland. He had 6 maxims, but number 2 maxim is what everybody should apply to their life. Play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. That's how to live your life right there. Now, let's first start with Dr. J. And I'm going to go over his career highlights for a second. Well, okay, more than a second. NBA champion, 2-time ABA champion, 2-time ABA playoffs MVP, NBA MVP, 3-time ABA MVP, 11-time NBA All-Star, 5-time ABA All-Star, 2-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, 5-time All-NBA First Team, 2-time All-NBA Second Team, 4-time All-ABA First Team, All-ABA Second Team, ABA All-Defensive First Team, ABA All-Rookie First Team, 3-time ABA Scoring Champion, ABA Slam Dunk Champion, ABA All-Time Team, ABA All-Time MVP, NBA Anniversary Team, 35th, 50th, and 75th. Number 32 retired by the Brooklyn Nets. Number 6 retired by Philadelphia 76ers. Third team All-American NABC UPI 1971. And number 32 retired by UMass Minutemen. That took me a little over a minute to get out. That was how many things that this man had. On top of that, He was what the NBA wanted. There were other players that were good in the ABA, but Dr. J carried that league on his back. And there were people, I have heard interviews from players who have from the 80s that said they would get in there and read the newspapers to find out what Dr. J did. This was how important he was to an entire generation of NBA players and those that didn't get in the league. He's a man who, quite honestly, showed how showing or giving a true entertainment process when it comes to basketball would bring about the fans that were necessary, even in a league that wasn't doing that good. But when he got to the NBA, he still was able to win, even though he was a little bit older, and he was still doing things. I mean, you talk about Magic Johnson being a legend, him talking about what he saw when he played against Dr. J, talking about how much you couldn't compete against him. He said that some of the things that he saw on the court were just phenomenal. And so this was the real showing of what could be done on a basketball court. Whether he was doing dunks from the free throw line or whatnot, this man carried a league and then came into the NBA and magnified it even more to the point of that legends talked about how good he was. So, let's get into Kareem. Now, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, we're going to go over his career highlights. Six-time NBA champion, two-time NBA Finals MVP, six-time NBA Most Valuable Player, 19-time NBA All-Star, 10-time All-NBA First Team, 5-time All-NBA Second Team, 5-time NBA All-Defensive First Team, 6-time NBA All-Defensive Second Team, NBA Rookie of the Year, NBA All-Rookie First Team, 2-time NBA Scoring Champion, NBA Rebounding Leader, 4-time NBA Block Leader, NBA Anniversary Teams 35th, 50th, 75th, number 33 retired by the Milwaukee Bucks, number 33 retired by Los Angeles Lakers, 3-time NCAA champion, 3-time NCAA Final Four Most Outstanding Player, 3-time National College Player of the Year, 3-time Consensus First Team All-American, 3-time First Team All-Pac-8, number 33 retired by UCLA Bruins, 2-time Mr. Basketball USA, 3-time First Team Parade All-American. And that's just his playing. I'm not going to go into his coaching, but that's just his playing. The NBA was based around this man. He was the face of the NBA in the 70s. Now, yes, it would change come 79 when in came both Magic and Bird. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, even after those two came in, was a dominant force in the league. Multi-time champion. I mean, you're looking at 6-time NBA champion. 1971, his first time, he was with the Milwaukee Bucks. And he left there because it didn't have the scene that he wanted. He wanted jazz, he wanted a mosque. So he goes to LA. Now, it took until Magic Johnson was there in 80 to get him his next NBA championship, but 80, 82, 85, and 87, and 88 all were championship years for them. This shows the power of what this man did. The skyhook is considered one of the most dominant shots because you couldn't block it. on top of the fact of this man, was taller than most people. When he jumped, he was shooting basically over the rim into the net. The NBA knew that they had to hype him up, just like they had to hype up Jordan, just like they had to hype up Bird, John, Magic. This was the player, even when he wasn't winning championships, that caused people to turn on the TV. But here's the thing, he wasn't a flashy player like Dr. J, which kind of hurt the league. Them needing him as the front man, he was not a flashy player. Like I said earlier, he was the big fundamental before the big fundamental. He wasn't trying to be flashy, unlike Dr. J. He wasn't trying to get out there and be seen by everybody, which hurt the NBA in a lot of ways. But you heard what all he did while he was in the NBA. People followed him. You talk about, Shaq was trying to impress him whenever he was around him. People would walk up to him, young players would walk up to him while he was still playing just to have that chance, even though he was kind of cold with people. And that kind of hurt the league in a lot of ways. But they still were reliant on him. So, this is who was the front man. And even today, he does a few ads here and there, and he gives interviews, but he's still not a outgoing kind of person. So they were relying on a man who, on the court, was one of the most exciting players that you can imagine by just doing the fundamentals. He wasn't doing flashy slam dunks because he wasn't allowed to when he was in college. He had taken that kind of out of his game, so he turned to the sky hook, which, there are people today that go, why aren't NBA players using this? This was his impact. Nowadays, the WNBA is floundering. That's the best way to put it. It's like the NBA of the 60s and 70s. Caitlin Clark has come in and she's starting to get butts put in the seat. She's starting to get people watching TV, even with her coaching or with her current shooting slump. People are still paying attention to her. You've got people that are slamming her for every little thing, and they don't like her because she's not part of the traditional WNBA. But here's the thing, she's doing what Dr. J and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did for the NBA and the ABA. Those two men carried their leagues. Okay, so Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wasn't as flashy, but still, his winning, his what he did on the court helped the league as much as it could. But the ABA was able to stick around and fight the NBA because of Dr. J. Dr. J got out there and was flashy and did things on the court that people still talk about because he was able to do those half court, or not half court, but free throw line dunks. He could do things that I wish I could show you on here. I don't want to get, you know, copyrighted because you don't know where to find. I don't know where to find half the videos, but this is what's going on. The NBA is even saying, or is even having a lot of hurt going to it because people are tired of what they're seeing, the flopping and the uh, players just aren't exciting. They don't have a Kareem. Yes, I know that LeBron James beat Kareem's all-time scoring title and all of this, but LeBron James has his detractors. Even though, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he doesn't have controversy, I will give him that. LeBron James, just like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, does not do controversial stuff. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar just wanted, when he was off court, wanted to go listen to jazz and wanted to go to mosque. Those were the only two things that he wanted to do. He didn't want to get in the middle of drama. Neither does LeBron James. I have to give him credit for that. On court, they're both competitors. So you see that alignment right there. Dr. J, though, you don't have that. You have people, everybody's going for that 3-point shot. So what Dr. J did back then with the slam dunk and his fancy moves, now it's the 3-point shot, like Steph Curry, like Caitlin Clark. That's how you carry a league right there, is you've got to have some showmanship, which Dr. J showed could be used. And then they finally got him into the NBA, and that showmanship was still there, and people started getting to see it, which helped. Yes, the Bird Magic rivalry was the main pusher of it, but Dr. J was still, even though he was slowing down, was still the person that you watched for the flashy ways of doing everything when you weren't watching the Showtime Lakers. So, to understand what's going on now, you need to understand what went on then. So, Caitlin Clark is the Dr. J / Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of the WNBA. She is carrying that league. She is making sure that people are getting fed. We need people to understand that. You need to study the history of the NBA and the ABA to understand what is going on in the WNBA and how the WNBA is messing up. So if you hear me talking about that, this is the reason why. And these two players are players that you need to study to understand all that. This has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.
I want to thank you for watching my video. And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, and comment. Y'all have a good day now.